Once there was a divorced man and his daughter, and a widowed woman and her daughter. Both girls were in the same class together. One day, both of them were at Central Park. The woman told her daughter to go play with the pigeons. Then she called over the man's daughter.
I really like you and your father, and I think that we can all be one big happy family if you can just mention this to him. If you can convince your dad and we get married, I promise you will have MAC Cosmetics and Starbucks coffee every morning, while your sister will only have Maybelline and McDonald's coffee every morning.
Okay, I would love to have a sister and a family again.
While riding on the subway heading home, the girl tells her father that she thinks that it would be a good idea if her father found someone to be with again, because she wants him not to be so lonely, and for her to have a woman figure in her life. Maybe even someone who has a daughter so she could have a sister.
You know, Dad, I'm coming into an age where you won't be able to answer my questions.
What? Dear old Dad not be able to answer your questions? You know, I have an app where all I have to do is just ask Google.
Okay, Dad, could you ask your phone what products work best for my menstrual cycle, Maxi or Tampax?
Well, it sounds like you have someone in mind, and since I can't claim to be an expert, with your mom and all, okay, if I can get signal on this here subway, I will get married to whoever you feel is best for us. Deal? The marriage took place a month later. The widow never wanted to waste time, especially if someone was willing to go along with her plan. The first morning, the daughter woke up to the smell of a peppermint mocha after her shower, and there was a collection of MAC products from the moisturizer all the way to the lip gloss. The stepsister had a McDonald's coffee and one Maybelline product, a concealer. The second morning, the daughter woke up to the sound of a coffee grinder. Both girls were served coffee and both had Maybelline products. The third morning, the daughter woke up and saw an electric kettle next to a jar of instant coffee, and her stepsister was applying her MAC products to her face while sipping on a tall caramel latte and eating a huge blueberry muffin. This is how it was every day after.
1 year had passed, and the stepmother hated her stepdaughter more with each passing day. She would think of ways to get rid of her, but each time the stepmother failed, the more she hated her. Now, she just focuses on making her stepdaughter's life unbearable. So this time, the stepmother asked her to go out in the brutal cold with just a newspaper dress, the only one she owned, and a stale piece of a hoagie bread.
Go and find me a monarch butterfly and take this bread with you. I don't want you spending all your dad's hard-earned money on frivolous stuff for yourself. And don't come back until you get me a butterfly.
But it is winter. There isn't any butterflies in winter, and I only have my dress to wear, and it is so cold out there.
Are you arguing with me? How dare you treat me this way after all I've done for you? I thought families do things for each other, but excuse me. Well, I guess if you can't do anything for you or your father since we are not family.
No, of course we are family. And you're right, family does things for each other. I will go.
Go on, then, and show me how much you love me, and find me a butterfly.
The daughter leaves and thinks, oh well, it will feel good to get out of here for a while. The girl did not even know where to begin. A butterfly in winter, she thought? And man, that woman must be having a flashback from her Woodstock days or something. She walked until she reached Central Park, and she was so cold and tired. There was only one bench that didn't have a person sleeping on it. Though there were 3 men, she was sure she could fit, and she needed a break. Excuse me, could I share your bench with you?
Well, of course.
How nice of you to ask.
You look tired.
I am, and I'm cold, tired, and hungry. Do you mind if I sit here for a little while and eat my lunch?
Of course not.
You don't have to ask.
You do look hungry.
The girl was so hungry and tired, so she took out her stale piece of hoagie bread and thought, how will I ever find a stupid butterfly when it is so cold?
What is that?
Hoagie bread.
Can we have some?
The girl didn't even think twice about it and tried to break the bread with her hands. But it was too hard, so she tried to cut it in half by rubbing it against the side of the bench. It broke into uneven pieces, so she gave each man a bigger piece than she gave herself. The men were so touched by her kindness.
Why don't you have a jacket?
I only own this one dress. I try not to waste the family's money. Why are you here in Central Park? This was my last stop. I don't know where else to look.
Why are you out here in the cold?
I have to find and catch a monarch butterfly for my stepmother. She says it will help her to feel better, and I can't go home till I find one. The men were so shocked to hear that this was the only clothing this poor girl had. They were so touched by her kindness, charity, and warm heart that the first one texted the second one, and the second one texted the third. They decided to do something nice for her.
I will give her the gift of beauty. She will get prettier every day.
I will give her the gift of transportation. Every time she speaks, a Metro card will fall out of her mouth.
I will give her the gift of love and riches. She will marry a Broadway movie star.
Walk us to the subway. The four of them walk to the subway, and when the girl gets to the bottom of the step, she sees a beautiful monarch butterfly just sitting on the rail. She looks back to tell them, "Look," but nobody is there. The daughter goes back home, shows the stepmother the butterfly, and begins to tell the stepmother about the three men in the park. But as she is talking, Metro cards keep falling out of her mouth. The stepsister starts grabbing them. The stepsister was jealous. She then started jumping up and down.
I want to get out of here and go shopping. Look at all the money I'll save if I could get Metro cards to fall out of my mouth.
Are you crazy? It is freezing out there. You will catch a cold and die. And what good would all that clothes do you?
I will just go down to Central Park, and then, when it's warmer, we can go shopping. The stepmother agreed, but she made her daughter wear her long coat, scarf, and boots, and sent her with a huge slice of pizza and a big slice of New York cheesecake. The daughter finds the three men and shoves the third man over. Move over, you old men. Can't you see I need to sit down and eat my lunch?
What is that?
Pizza. Haven't you ever seen pizza before?
That smells good. Is that cheesecake?
Can we have a bite? It sure is a big piece. Are you on crack? This is my lunch. Go out and get your own pizza and cheesecake. God knows they are on every corner. The men looked at her, but they were not really shocked by her behavior. But they were thinking about how nice the girl was with the newspaper dress. They thought they are few and far between, but there are still some nice people in New York City. So the first one texted the second one, and the second one texted the third one, and then they looked at the girl. What are you looking at?
I will give her the gift of ugliness. She will become uglier every day.
I will give her the gift of a cleaner mouth. Every time she speaks, a rat will fall out of her mouth.
I will give her the gift of death, and she will die a painful death. The three men, happy with their gifts to the girl, thought they might give her one more chance to redeem herself.
Walk us to the subway.
Lay off of that crack. It is messing with your brain. Walk yourself to the subway. When the daughter got home, she busted into the door to start telling her mom that she did not see any nice men in the park. But as she is talking, a rat falls from her mouth. For every word, one big rat. This was so disgusting even to her own mother. What made the stepmother even more mad is that her stepdaughter was getting more beautiful every day, and this was really getting annoying, so she needed to get rid of her.
Go out and take your stupid cards with you and do some laundry. But I want our clothes washed down in a Brooklyn laundromat. And you know not to fool me. I have a nose, and I know where my clothes have been washed. The stepdaughter goes. She doesn't care just as long as she can get away from her and her daughter's rats. She takes the clothes to Brooklyn, and while she waits, she sees that there is a film crew filming down the street. She starts to head out the door, but in comes a handsome Broadway movie star. He falls in love with her and asks if she wants to go with him to his home at Ellis Island. She agrees and takes the once-in-a-lifetime deal. Soon they are married and they have a child together. The stepmother reads this in a magazine and wants to pay a visit to her stepdaughter and baby boy. While Daniel is away on location, the stepmother and daughter throw her out the window, killing her instantly. The daughter, who now makes Medusa look like a beautiful queen, lays waiting in Daniel's bed until he gets back. The mother keeps warning her not to speak because she was tired of chasing those rats who look like dogs and throwing them out the window. The husband comes back and slides into bed. What hairy legs you have.
The better to scratch your back with.
What kind of squeaks are you whispering to me?
The better to get you excited.
What big chapped peeling lips you have.
The better to kiss you with.
The daughter knew she needed to see her baby and nurse him, so every night for the last 2 nights she would turn into a squirrel and go past the doorman, run up the stairs to where her son was sleeping. Once inside, she turned back into herself and held her baby. The 3rd night, while the doorman was having a smoke break, he saw the daughter leave the building, then saw her turn into a squirrel.
Oh no, I need to stop smoking these things.
Please don't hurt me. I'm Daniel's wife. I was killed, and now I can never come back as myself or squirrel unless you tell Daniel and he passes his pocket knife 3 times over my head and then cuts off my tail.
Whatever you say, lady or squirrel, I'll tell Daniel, but if I get fired, I'll do more than cut off your tail.
Daniel felt sick the next day after being with his wife. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something wasn't right. So when the doorman came and told him what the girl said, he thought he would check it out for himself. He creeped into their room and looked through the bathroom mirror and saw the reflection that was lying in the bed, and then he threw up. He waited with the doorman until he saw the squirrel, and he did as he was told with his pocket knife. His beautiful wife appeared in front of him. He thought that no amount of jail time would be good enough for his stepmother and stepsister, so he hired a hitman to kidnap them and throw them in front of a subway. And everyone, including the doorman, lived happily ever after.